It's Man with No Game 45.
Apparently has been a part of the community for a while. I've never seen their content, but their name is Man with No Game.
If you don't know Man with No Game 45, Man with No Game 45 is impossible.
Like, what he did is absolutely incredible. Man with No Game 45.
None other than Man with No Game 45.
Update 7.1 for Mortal Kombat Mobile has finally arrived. Man with No Game 45 here. I can't wait to share more with you about these two characters in the background. But before I do, I wanted to give you an idea of what I think this update is really all about. Update 7.1 is quite literally the best bug fix update we've probably ever had in the game. As of this recording, the patch notes are already 11 pages long, and that's not even including all of the information regarding the new characters. That's just straight up bug fixes and improvements to the game. As a longtime player, I am really happy about this because it's something that we've all been asking for years. I'm going to just quickly go through a few of the biggest ones that I think really bear mentioning. The talent tree bug that used to be triggered for players who had more than 102 talent points has finally been resolved. Shinnok's Teachings, which most players know as Bone Shield, has had its percentage chance of activation significantly reduced. And I know not all of you are going to be as thrilled about all these bug fixes as I am, but I did want to give one more a shout out because it's kind of a big one. The special ending talent can now finally be safely used. You no longer have to worry about an opponent popping back up at the end of the match and soft locking the match for you. I personally strayed away from this talent because even though it's incredibly useful, it had soft locked my game so often as to justify never using it. Now let's get to talking about these new characters, and surprise, surprise, a gold card that veteran players are actually all going to want and need on their team. Now, why is Klassic Nightwolf a gold card that's actually going to be useful to veteran players? Well, it's because his passive is all about buffing Team Soak. Klassic Nightwolf and his classic teammates will deal 15% more damage with lightning and fire attacks, and also will have a 20% unblockable chance on all special attacks. But what makes Klassic Nightwolf such a valuable addition to the Classic Soak team is his special ability called Spirit Wrath. While affected by Spirit Wrath, his opponents have their debuff resistance and debuff reflection entirely removed. And additionally, Nightwolf's special attacks all become lightning attacks. So, if you're looking for a counter to MK1 Garrus or Classic Smoke, basically any bosses that have loads of debuff resistance or debuff reflection, this is the character who can finally do it for your team. To access his Spirit Wrath, you will gradually have to build up your might through basic attacks until it reaches a stack of 10. At the same time, that stacking might will increase his basic attack, damage, and power generation. So finally, a gold card we can all actually use. His Kombat Pass, Season 26, Season of the Matoka, will start right along with the update next Wednesday, January 28th. And as a premium reward for his Kombat Pass, in the Premium Plus tier will be MK11 Frost. I know that many players, like me, thought we'd seen the last of the MK11 team. So it's really cool not only to see this new character, but also to know that we may see new MK11 characters in the future. Now, what makes MK11 Frost pretty special is she is an ally of Kronika, and the developers of the game have taken to calling her Killer Frost. This is because of her Time Freeze Impulse. This is an extra attack that takes about 15 seconds to charge, and once activated, drastically slows time around Frost for a full 6 seconds. Each hit on the opponent during the impulse applies a stacking kinetic effect, and when the time flow returns to normal, the opponent will receive additional damage based on the number of stacked kinetic effects. What makes this significantly more powerful, though, is that any special attacks triggered during the time freeze impulse will apply Team Frostbite to the opposing team for a full 7 seconds. Through her team passive, Frost will grant her MK11 teammates a 25% chance to freeze their opponents on combo enders, and any of her teammates who apply freeze will deal an additional 20% damage via their ice attacks. The teammates who will benefit the most, however, from her passive are Triborgs and Spec Ops teammates, because they're going to get a 15% speed increase as well as a 25% critical chance boost. Frost is going to be an ideal character to pair with Spec Ops and Nomad teams, characters like Garrus and Homelander. Also, quite shockingly, one of the best things about Frost is going to be her new signature equipment, Frozen Touch. What's going to make this gear so amazing, and specifically for Frost, is a 35% basic attacks unblockable chance. That's the first time in the game we've ever seen unblockable attacks on an armor. Also, for Frost specifically, Frost will gain speed while the active opponent is affected by frostbite, and her combo enders will increase the duration of that frostbite on the opponent by 1 second. And last but certainly not least, her Fusion X with a 25% critical hit chance boost is going to make this a gear you will want to equip every time on this character. Frost's Kombat Pass will be making its debut immediately after Nightwolf, Season 27, the Season of Cryogenics. And she will also be a featured Realm Clash reward in upcoming seasons of Realm Clash. Now, no Mortal Kombat Mobile update would be complete without some new finishers. And we have a new Friendship as well as a new Brutality coming in Update 7.1. Starting with the win set for Fujin's Friendship, Let's Go Fly a Kite. Now, of course, I'll be sharing this explainer for Fujin's Friendship, as well as the explainer for Takeda's Brutality, on my socials as usual, so don't worry about zooming in. In a very brief explanation, the way that Fujin's rare in this set works and armor is basically the Oblivion debuff being applied on Special Attack 2, as well as a opponent unblockable attack chance reduction. And at FX, this gear will also heal Fujin by 10% every time the Oblivion debuff is applied to an opponent, at a maximum of 3 times per tagging for this rare gear, Wind of Memories. His epic, Wind of Rebellion, is going to be an especially difficult epic to face in the hands of a boss, namely Fujin. At FX, it's going to work a lot like Misfortune Teller from the Twisted Tower, where it will give a 15% chance to cast Invulnerability before any special attack. But once the special attack is completed, it will also apply Stun for 3 seconds. To make matters worse, any special attack won from this gear from Fujin will apply Snare for 20 seconds. and the first 3 attacks are actually done at 60% increased damage on Special 1, and the snare is unresistible on those attacks. Additionally, this gear is somewhat unique in that it will provide special buffs for reaching higher numbers on the mini games on special attacks. At 80%, it will provide a strength buff, and at 90% or better, it will also provide a death mark debuff. It will also function a little like Wrestling Star's Last Puff, where there will be a chance that it will steal your opponent's power on basic attacks. At max, a 30% chance to steal 2% power on basic attacks. Now let's take a look at Takeda's new Brutality, Sweep the Leg, and his Takahashi set. The rare accessory, Takahashi's Determination, is going to have an FX effect, a lot like Midnight Stalker's sight, gaining 8% max power on each block breaker attack. Then it's also going to function a lot like Tempest Bangle, Raiden's Friendship rare, granting regeneration for 7 seconds on tagout. Lastly, it will feature a 60% damage boost when maxed. His epic weapon, Takahashi's Gauntlets, will be the first gear besides Homelander's Supersuit to feature a sneak attack, which will keep opponents like Assassin Jade from evading your special attacks. Much like Blazing Training, this gear will apply Shield Break, but instead of before a special attack, after any special attack. However, if this special attack is successful, it will apply a Team Shield Break for 10 seconds. At FX, successful special attacks will deal 15% damage to opponents who are tagged out, and if those opponents are affected by Shield Break already, they will also be afflicted by Despair. Uniquely, Takeda will have a 75% chance to gain luck on combo enders, and once he has luck applied, he will also apply Curse prior to any special attack. With Takeda finally getting a Brutality, it's time for Shirai Ryu Takeda to ascend. And joining him in Ascension will be Hat Trick Kung Lao and Commando Kano. Now, as usual, I'm running out of time to make this video, so I'm going to have to go really quickly through these remaining returning events and also quality of life improvements I definitely want to make sure to tell you about 7.1. Elder Wind Tower will be making its return with updated clear rewards, both normal and fatal versions. Edenian Tower will also be making its return with updated clear rewards, both normal and fatal versions. And in keeping with the winter theme, one of the most anticipated returning towers, Cold Tower, will be returning. There is only one version of this tower. 7.1 is also going to have improved Realm Clash rewards, and along those lines, the difficulty of Clash Towers has actually been decreased. They found that players were only having about a 60% success rate against the towers, so they've made them a little bit easier for players to beat. But more importantly, we're all going to get better rewards for doing so, along with greater increased chances for MK11 Frost. Also, as usual with the update, expect the Tower of Time to return. Likely the event will run towards the end of the update. Now, something new and really cool, cameos will be rewarded for completing Elder Challenges. A cameo for that specific character featured in the challenge. For Valentine's Day, we will have a 20% Crypt Bonus Hearts event once again. And then for Friday the 13th, we'll have another special event as well. And last but certainly not least, MK1 Melina's been buffed and her cheating AI has been fixed. There's still so much more I'd love to tell you about the update, but that's all I have time for now. One last thing, keep your eyes out for a poll coming within probably the next week. Another very significant community poll.
Happiness is a warm gun.
Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow Man with No Game 45 on X.